Okay, so I had a completely different video planned for today. It's recorded, it's edited, it's ready to go. I was ready to upload it, and Apple just dropped an update for Logic that we need to talk about.
At McCrae Music.
How are you doing? I'm richly blessed. I pray that you are as well. All right, we need to talk about Logic Pro 11.2. because Apple just dropped this update and there are some amazing features in here that we need to talk about. And we're going to get into it like right now. Before we do, please take a moment and like this video and subscribe to this channel. And let's take a look at what Logic 11.2 has to offer. All right, here we are in Logic. I want to start off with a couple of honorable mention features, and the only reason these are honorable mentions is because these are features I probably would use, but I have an Intel Mac, and these only are going to work on the M1 chips or greater. One of them is some enhancements that they've made to the stem splitter. If you're not familiar with that, if you have an M1 chip, you can take a track that has maybe vocals and a bunch of instruments, and you can basically split it out into stems. So you can just isolate the vocals or just isolate things. They've added some enhancements to that to let you split it up into multiple things and choose like the type of track that it's going to be. So you could say, hey, this is just going to be an instrumental or, whatever. You can separate it out like bass, drums, vocals, and all those different kind of things. As you can see here, if I control click on this WAV file and I go to processing, nothing in here about stem splitter because unfortunately I don't have an M1 chip, right? But if you have one, check that out. That is really cool. Another thing that is cool that is specifically for those type of chips is there is now AI integration with ChatGPT. If we go into the notes section here, you'll notice that I've got a button here that is grayed out, and if I hover over it, it says writing tools. If I click on that, it's going to tell me I can't use that because, again, I have an Intel processor in my Mac. But if you have an M1 or greater, you can connect, and you do have to connect this to ChatGPT. I don't know if it's going to require, ChatGPT is going to require you to have like a paid account or anything like that. I'm not sure if you can use the free account. But this will allow you to integrate ChatGPT into Logic. So you can use it similarly to how you would use like how Microsoft Copilot is integrated into like Word and PowerPoint and stuff. You could use ChatGPT. So like I got some lyrics here. I could say, hey, ChatGPT, give me some more lyrics for this song, or finish this song in the styling of Michael Jackson, or, whatever the case might be. And it'll go ahead and do that for you. So if you have that capability, again, you'll see that in the notes section. Okay, now let's get into some features that I can actually show you guys. This first one might seem a little trivial to you, but it is really cool, and that is we now have the ability to use long faders in the mixer view. If I turn on my mixer view here, we can see the faders are really short, and if you are ever, mixing anything in Logic, that can be kind of annoying. But if I go to view now, in my mixer view, I now have an option for long faders. That is fantastic. That's very Luna-esque, all right? I don't remember if you can do that in Pro Tools or not, but that's Luna-esque. We now have more space where I can go and make more fine changes to my mix. So that's cool. Again, go to View. We can turn long faders on, or if you don't like it, you can turn that off. I'm going to be leaving that on. Another cool new feature is we can now search for tracks by name and select them. That is great because if, we could have a lot of tracks. Like I'm down to track number 100 here. I'm not actually using that many, I probably added some and deleted them or whatever, but I got a lot of tracks going in here. I got some groups. That's why, because I got these groupings and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I usually have to have things really shrunken so I can see everything, but now I can expand and be able to see more. And watch what I can do. If I go up to track and I go to search and select track, now I can search for a track. I'm going to search for Conga. And look at that. Give me the number and the name. Conga 2. Boom. takes me right there. Fantastic. Piano. His piano comp. Boom, right there. Fantastic stuff, right? Now, according to Apple's website, we should be able to use the keyboard shortcut of Option Command T. I can't seem to get that shortcut to work. I don't know what that's about. And I also don't see that shortcut showing up here next to it. So maybe that's an error on their part. But we go to track, we go to search and select track. Boom, we can search for whatever we want. Boom, go right there. That is amazing, especially if you have a large session. Really, really cool stuff. All right, another cool new feature is we can now display the master volume control or the output volume right up here next to our control bar, right? If I simply go and left click on the display mode drop down here, and I go to customize control bar and display, I can come here and I can choose to either have the master volume, and notice that that has the fader there so I could control it, or the output meter right there. That is really cool, right? So if I have master volume, right, and I want to turn it down, watch what happens. Right, so I can control that master fader right from there. For me, I probably wouldn't want that because I don't really use that master fader anyway. So I would probably just want the output meter here, and it's just going to show me the output. That is really cool, right? Again, a nice Luna feature. They're borrowing some stuff from Luna, all right? And I don't mind because I use both of them. So if we can merge them together into one big doll, that would be great for me, all right? So that is a really cool feature. Now we get to what is the biggest game-changing feature for me, Ed, personally. All right, check this out. Now, we already know that Logic is listening to your MIDI, right? If you didn't know that, Logic is listening. So like, let's say I'm just playing around with something. Let's just pick a track here. And let's say I'm noodling around on this chorus, right? But I'm not recording. I'm just noodling around, right? So let's see. Well, I'm like, man, that was really cool. Oops, I forgot to hit record. We know that we can hit Shift R, and look at that. There's my MIDI, right? So Logic is always listening. Beautiful. I now have my performance, all right? So that's cool. You can now do that with audio. It's listening to your audio now. Check this out. I'm going to let me add in a new track real quick. And I'm just going to call this test audio, right? And watch this. So I'm not hitting record. I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to sing something while it's playing. All right, I did not record that. I'm going to hit Shift R. Oh my goodness. It was listening. Do you understand how life-changing that is? Do you know how many times I've been in the studio doing a recording session with an artist, and they're just rehearsing it, and they are killing it vocally. It's perfect. And the second you hit record, they either forget what they did, or the anxiety of I'm now recording just completely changes the performance. And then you have to work to get back what was happening when they were just freely noodling around in the mic. And now Logic is listening all the time. Yes, Apple. Yes, Logic. This is a game changer for me. If you don't record audio or vocalist, you might be like, I don't know. This is absolutely game changing. This feature alone was worth making this video. All right, because that is going to save me so much time in the studio. That is amazing. Wow, man, that is really cool. There are other features that are part of this update. I just kind of extrapolated the ones, that's a good SAT word. I just kind of extrapolated the ones that were meaningful to me and that I thought were really cool. But if you go to Apple's website, and I'll put a link in the description of this video, you can check out all of the specific updates that are there, get all the details, and dive into this thing and learn some pretty cool stuff. Again, just the listening to the audio, just how are we not paying for this? like how are we not having to pay more money for these features? How are they just releasing these updates and it's the same software and they're not charging us for this beyond our original payment for this software? I don't understand, but I'm grateful. I'm so grateful because it's amazing. Again, go to Apple's website. Link is in the description. Take a look at all of the features. You might see some other things maybe that I did not touch on that are of interest to you. Go take a look at that. And I'll see you next week in the video that actually was supposed to be this one, but then Apple did this, and so it's moved to next week.